state, kind of trying to lean off the pressure, and that can be really nice for a player as emotional as Drogo, but he looks focused, which is a good sign in itself because it makes me think that he believes in himself, like you were saying, to take this match. But here's his opponent at the bottom left-hand side. It is the red Zerg player for Team Liquid. It is Elazer.
In the upper right-hand side, we do have ourselves PtitDrogo.
Yeah, looking good in those glasses too. I love those glasses. And
yeah.
Now Elazer is gonna, just do the quick scout to make sure that his hatchery is not getting blocked, and then drop it at 16. On the other side, Drogo gonna do a low ground expand by the looks of it, so nothing out of the ordinary here.
Yeah, our first chance of looking at some CVP today, right? So expecting to see some Stargates and stuff. That is one thing which I think Drogo will stick to. That is very meta compared to the fact that you may otherwise kind of play like a longer game out, a little bit kind of less than standard in terms of what we expect nowadays. So, yeah, expecting that. I'd be surprised. I mean, Drogo is someone that mixes glaives in, but I'd be kind of surprised if he mixed the glaives in, honestly. Like,
yeah,
in this series, I just feel like he's going to open Stargate, try and do some kind of like nice, fast Archon Immortal stuff, get some pressure going, get some attacks going. Like I said, just really be powerful in the mid game.
Yeah, for sure. Drogo is a player that really likes to think out his plans, as does Elazer. Both of these players maybe for respective races, some of the more methodical ones in Europe, if not the most. So, yeah, I think in the early and mid game, we're going to see a lot of just very well thought out, very tight strategies. We see it there even with the drone transfer, right? Like the drone finishes mining as the hatchery finishes. Like that is Elazer in a nutshell. And we're going to see a lot of those little details as well for Drogo in the pathing of his oracles, should he go that route and whatnot. Everything is going to be very well figured out. So it's gonna be about who throws in the first wrench, because it is when they get into chaotic situations that both of these players can begin to struggle, right? Like once their plan is thrown off.
Yeah, once they kind of get thrown out for what they want to do, it's like that's where these guys get a little bit crazy. It gets a little bit wild, a little bit fun. And that sort of stuff is actually being very exciting to see from these two. And in fact, I feel like some of the best games I've seen from Drogo and Elazer is where the game does just go wild, right? It goes completely kind of offbeat, and these two are kind of forced to improvise against each other, because in that regard, I feel like they match up very well with each other.
They do, yeah, they really do. It's a really fun matchup. It's really a classic, and it's one that I've enjoyed for years now. So we'll see what they have to bring to each other's table here, as Elazer tends to be the aggressor more often than not, even though in this matchup it's oftentimes the other way around. So really not removing the possibility from Drogo, but yeah, come the mid game, I think it's gonna be Elazer looking for those floods of units, 9 thirds and fourths, and just, once he starts, he does not stop making units.
Yeah, Elazer loves that stuff as well, and he might sneak in a few drones to then flood more units later, right? Anything to aid him in flooding units. As Overlord survives for a few more moments, it's so frustrating because now the Stalker doesn't really want to head on over there, wants to stay in the wall off so that Overlord actually gets to survive. So nice save from Elazer, and just one as Overlord, he has to go rebuild, and even, obviously a further scout, because now you can keep an eye on that topside gas. Drogo just takes an instant third base. So third base, triple Oracle, just playing a very macro-oriented game so far, and not really showing us what his plan is for kind of overall composition or mid-game or anything. That's something we're still heading toward.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to use the first two oracles to move out as he's going to trust the adept basically to hold the fort at the third. There's two queens here, not with enough energy, so Drogo's going to poke at them, but instead goes after the drones as he sees the transfer and identifying that Elazer doesn't have the defenses yet at his third base. So we'll get 2 drones for his troubles and a little bit of bruising done onto one of those queens.
Yeah, just going to see how... Robo Facility dropping down. It's actually a real fast Robo before anything else. And the Twilight and the Forge. I guess everything's basically coming in sync. I was just surprised to see only the Robo on the production tab for a few moments. But yeah, taking into every single one. It's just that kind of triple tech that you expect to see as the next step for the Protoss play here. So not too surprised when you see it all pan out. And these Oracles still looking for openings. There's no pressure from Elazer and Drogo, not even feeling the need to, leave an Oracle at home or anything. Just feeling absolutely fine to just go and look for opportunities with every single one of these.
Yeah, he doesn't really need to find much, right? Because like you're alluding to, a lot of the times with this sort of pressure, it's most important to just keep those oracles alive for the follow-up. This is kind of like a hero type style that Drogo is going for. He is going for 4 gases. You can do something like this off of 3, and this revelated drone a little bit. Yeah, he tried to wiggle. I'm not sure what the wiggle was supposed to do there, but yeah, I like what Drogo is doing right now with these oracles, and this this drone is ambitious. But Drogo's not gonna be paying attention, so the hatch rate will actually go up, but gets the cannon right away.
That drone was like, yeah, I've made it, and little did he know that was actually the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, another drone, man. Elazer is just really on auto mode right now, and the oracles can turn around and do the same thing again, but the longer the hatchery stays up, the less likely that becomes. On the other side, finally, Ling aggression here is going to get into it's going to slip through the cracks of this third base, but with the shield battery and a couple of adepts and a couple cells there, he should be plenty fine.
Yeah, he absolutely should be. Is just going to be seeing our Lings. I'm going to go and get into the main base as well, though. Nice to have a full scout, just in case there's something weird going on. Do you have our adepts? And the low ground gets around for a moment, but supported by a cannon and a battery just feels unlikely that those Lings will find too much. And the Lings seem to agree, backing away already and looking to fight another day.
For sure. Elazer going for a 5th, and he is up to 65 workers, but so is Drogo on his 3 base, so the income should be pretty much about even for the time being. That will change as the game progresses, but Drogo is also looking to get out on the map at some point. Immortals being added to this composition is kind of unique, and actually Storm as well, which, I mean, I guess that could have been signaled to me by the fact that Drogo is actively taking the gases at the 3rd. So not exactly that flooding hero style where you're gonna be able to take the very fast 4th and just flood out with gateway units this time around, but a little bit tech heavier from Drogo, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like it too, and it is very just Drogo-esque as well, for sure, as we see these units from Elazer. He's going to be the one floating, man. 65 drones, pretty much just 3-base saturation. That 5th hatch was more of a macro hatch than anything else. These Danes are just going to go for it. Oh my goodness, they get both the batteries. Roach is running up this ramp, going to go and try and clean up absolutely everything else. And this is just going to be these Roaches just going to go huge, picking up all of this stuff. And, well, I mean, this just ended the game. Those Banelings, man, slowly just waddling in. Literally just killed off everything that Drogo would have potentially hoped to have used for defense. So Elazer, out of nowhere, strikes and delivers himself a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, very nice. And we saw, I mean, Drogo really needed just a few more seconds. As the game ended, Storm finished. So if Storm finishes and he has those high Templars available, then that fight can look completely different. If he can somehow protect also those shield batteries, maybe if he had a sentry or something like that, there could have been an opportunity to delay those Banelings. But how unlikely is it to find yourself in a position where slow Banelings are just going after your defense so that the rest of the attack can work? But that is also Elazer in a nutshell. So.
Yeah, it is very creative though, and I mean, missing the information from the top side just meant that Drogo was not prepared for that at all. So, not able to prep, split, whatever, you know. So, very fun stuff. You know, I just saw, this is obviously a little bit off topic for our game, but I just saw in the chat, like, a lobby link for Acheron Lambo Game 3, which must be happening on the B stream. But that means it's 1-1 between Acheron and Lambo.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of obviously a very cool result that I guess we should probably check in on later. And yeah, Acheron, wonder if he cranked out the proxy 4-act. He does love that. But yeah, that's just something cool that caught my eye. I thought it was worth mentioning. Obviously, the B stream is active. Just whack a B onto the end of the Twitch link that you're currently watching on, and he'll be over there.
Yeah, very, very interesting and very exciting for Acheron as well. And yeah, Lambo's not going to be too happy if he loses that one. I can assure you of that.
Yeah, that makes
Drogo with a little bit of banter too.
Yeah, that makes this group way tougher. Like if Drogo loses, if Lambo loses to like Acheron, and then he's like, even if he beats Gabe, he's not guaranteed to get out of the group in first place anymore. That'd be so frustrating. But yeah, these two were having a bit of fun in the lobby chat. Drogo was saying lucky, and yeah.
Yeah, Elazer gave him the good old poop emote.
The poop emote getting dropped on in by the man in the top left-hand side who is up 1-0. Our Red Zerg from Team Liquid, Elazer.
On the bottom right-hand side, it is his opponent, PtitDrogo. Is that Altar that he's representing still?
I think so. Top of my head. He doesn't play much right now, so I'm not 100% sure, but I would believe that was the last team he was in.
Yeah.
I can double check.
I was gonna point to this drone from Elazer that he's still gonna go for it, and you know, like he goes out, and this is just kind of Elazer, right? Like he's so very methodical. A lot of the time he'll just do the same thing, and that is what he has practiced, and that is what is kind of set in his mind. But I mean, goes pretty far away with that drone to check for the probe, to see that he's not getting blocked, goes back and takes the hatchery. But on this map, it is so large, and on the previous map, you already know that your opponent didn't go for that. So I feel like you could just skip that and, you know, get the extra 10 to 15 minerals on this map and be perfectly fine. Even if your opponent wanted to block it, he would have to leave so early in order to block a 16 hatchery here.
Yeah. That would be actually kind of crazy to see a block on.
Yeah.
Cosmic. So, yeah. I kind of don't mind what Drogo sets up to do, is he just gets his gate stab core wall set at the front here, of course, very narrow entryway to this natural expansion. So, a couple of gate buildings will get the job done. That probe set up for another assimilator. What do you think? Obviously, this map a bit larger. It feels like sometimes the Zerg can still control this map well. What I think is really interesting is usually on this map, I like the Protoss taking like the triangle third and then pushing across the map via the watchtower and keeping the pressure up with like blink stalkers and so on. But Drogo just hasn't been that kind of a player. It's not been his style recently to play like that. So that's what I usually like from PvZ on this map. But then I feel like Drogo's probably not going to give us that. So what do you think Drogo maybe does otherwise?
I mean, again, as methodical as he is, I think he already gave us a taste of what he likes. He said lucky, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes once again into that heavier tech, if he goes for the 6 gases on 3 base and goes for Storm again. I think that is just very likely because, you know, if he's doing something, it's very well rehearsed, and for it to be very well rehearsed and very well thought out, you gotta do the same thing, like fairly often at least. So I think that's just his style right now, probably.
Yeah, just to start, just go back into it, get that Storm. Makes a lot of sense. I think it would have worked out very well if he was just a little bit more prepared, didn't get caught off guard. Just the Baneling's not doing as well, right? Could have made a major difference as well, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we're going to see 3 Oracles again, more likely than not, right, from Drogo. And if I'm a Elazer, again, I'm thinking along the same lines of the scout that I was talking about, right? Like Drogo didn't scout in the previous game, didn't go for the block, so maybe just don't account for that. You know that Drogo moves out with the Oracles, so maybe you can look to punish a third. If he moves out with those 3 Oracles and you get a third cancel, then, you know, you get a huge advantage. And we've seen that that's what Drogo kind of likes to do. So he's going to park this first Oracle there to defend the expansion as it goes down. Gonna send his 1 Adept, gonna make a pylon probably next to the Nexus. I prefer it next to the minerals personally, because then the Adept actually has more surface area onto links surrounding the Nexus. And then there's gonna be a second Oracle, and then maybe we'll see Drogo move out. But you can see what I mean. He's methodical. He's always gonna do the same thing. So exact same setup here.
Yep, he likes what he does, and he's gonna keep on doing it. And so far, that's exactly what we set up for. A couple of Oracles.
And moves out with the Oracles, yeah.
Move across on the map, right? And just, like you say, probably going to see a very similar setup, and then just try and make those slight adjustments later. And if Elazer does something similar, it's very possible Elazer just doesn't approach in the same way. He kills a queen, and now he's going to go for number 2. 2 queen defense? Not good enough. And now all these drones have to go running. Wow.
Yeah, that's huge from Drogo, and again, it's something that Elazer maybe could have anticipated. Now he is making 16 workers, or 16 links, and I love that because he just got rid of both Oracles. Drogo getting a little bit overeager there. I feel like taking down those queens, just back away, and you're pretty happy with the damage that you did. But instead, he's going to lose both Oracles just for an extra 2 workers, and Elazer is doing what I suggested he should do against a Drogo that likes to be aggressive with those Oracles. He is making a lot of links. He is crossing and looking to punish. The third Oracle will be here, and the surface area is not there for the links, however. Drogo does have that extra Adept, and while there isn't a shield battery yet, yeah, actually not much is going to come off of this, because Elazer didn't really commit further. So it's just going to be this links.
Yeah, man, those 2 Oracles, they even had 1 drone kill without even, like, putting themselves in danger. Then he just chased, and the one that was already hurt stayed behind. It got killed, and then you lose the one that chases deeper. Like you said at the time, just so unnecessary. You could have, at the very least, had 1 of those Oracles alive, and now he built an X Oracle too, so he still has a couple, and he's just back attacking yet again.
Yeah. And the links are going to take that opportunity to go into his mineral line. Going to get 2 probes for their troubles before the shield battery can finish. And Drogo, even with the same setup as far as like the number of Zealots at that base in the previous game, right? Like he had 2 Adepts and 2 Zealots. 2 Adepts and 2 Zealots. It's just the trademark. So same 3 buildings coming down from Drogo. Same upgrade. It's going to be +1. And yeah, I will be very surprised if we don't see a Storm follow-up.
Absolutely.
6 gases. Yep.
I'm just gonna say that coming up from Elazer, so he can start to set up himself. He's again also taking that kind of 5th base on the map rather than just kind of as a macro hatchery, so he has the option to use it, and in this case, it's a gold, and that feels like something Drogo needs to try and get on top of. Do not let that gold mine. That's one of the last things you want to have happen here. If that gold base gets mined, that feels like you're going to be in some trouble. As we lose another Oracle, just some of these units just not being well enough looked after at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately not. I did love the decision from Drogo to add that extra Oracle because it is going to be so surprising that it could have caught Elazer off guard, right? Like when you know you kill 2 Oracles and there's only 1 left, there's so little potential for damage, but with the second one there was. Now it's gone. It didn't do enough to really catch up. And I do love the gold base in this situation from Elazer because he already was sending his drones in that trajectory, like vertically down, right, towards it. So he already has a base from which he can easily transfer over drones without losing too much.
Good defense against this run by at least as Drogo's trying to make his way to the floor, protect the probe. It does go down. The Lings diving back in for that and get themselves a little bit of value. So doing decently there. There's now a few Banes from this other side going to come across and it's going to head straight in towards the cannon pylon. A little bit out of sync, but I mean, these probes obviously would be a great target. One hold position probe trying to pick up these Banes. Because obviously once the Banes are in that mineral line, the probes have nowhere to run to. They're walled in. So yeah, nice attempt from Drogo. A really cute way of trying to deal with this a little bit. But yeah, still loses 7 workers. That should be about it. But this is a huge distraction on the bottom side. He's losing his 4th base. And that Elazer just seems to be all over him right now.
Yeah, this time Storm will finish, but there's only 3 Templars available, and they're kind of out in the middle of the map. They are going to get some nice Storms onto the road just to weaken them. And with that, I think that he will be able to fend this off. And yeah, like you were saying, very cute defense or attempt at a defense there from Drogo to prevent those minions from going in. First by trying to morph a gateway, and then with the hold position on the probe, and then with the Stalker, and all of that wasn't enough, right? Because every response was just a little bit too late. Now here comes Elazer with a ton of stuff. There's no Storm available on the Templars just yet, ever so barely. And Elazer looking like he's gonna punish with a very similar timing as game 1. And yeah, looking to close this out. Those Immortals are still powerful. If they can get to the shield battery overcharge, maybe they'll have a say in the matter. Is there overcharge?
Yeah, I don't think so, right? I think it's already been... No, there is, apparently. He's just not using it. I mean, surely we pop it here, finally drops it. Oh, I mean, he is going to be able to kind of hold on with that, keep these Immortals alive for just a little bit. We do lose 1 Immortal at the front, though. Just don't feel like... I mean, the 3 Immortals is nice to keep it alive, but then he's just going to flood with so much stuff. And now these Immortals are very far forward. If the Lings wrap around them and stop them getting away, then these Immortals are very much so in trouble. Now it's just about being enough for Drogo as he continues to push this back. Still chasing, which I feel like is getting wilder and wilder.
On the third, there's 3 Banelings swirling on through, but Drogo will be paying attention to that and even warping in additional Stalkers, maybe way too many. Again, the distraction, however, forces an overextension from the French player, which means all of his Immortals will fall. And those are the key pieces that he needed to get rid of these roaches. So this is looking like a game that's coming to an end yet again. It's looking like a clean sweep for Elazer here with the 2-0.